Mr. the Fanboy, the most reckless force in all of the YouTube today. Tonight's episode of TNA Impact was awesome. The show started off with Dixie Carter walking to the ring to explain that her legal dispute with Hulk Hogan did not go as planned. Hulk Hogan then makes his return to the Impact Zone, to Impact, to tell Dixie that he still owns the company and that Dixie is still unemployed. Fortune comes out and then they go back and forth with Immortal to end the segment. The first match of the night was a tag team title match between defending champions Beer Money Inc. versus Gunner and Murphy. Beer Money defeated Gunner and Murphy in a real competitive tag team match. I like how TNA are starting to let Gunner and Murphy, aka Shatter and Michael Judas, showcase their talents more. Both of these guys are two of the best in the NWA and on the independent circuit. The next match of the night was a knockouts match between Sarita and Velvet Sky with Velvet Sky's career on the line. This was a pretty good match. Velvet Sky defeats Sarita with some kind of DDT, which means she gets to stay in TNA. After the match, Angelina from the Jersey Shore comes out and calls out JWoww for supposedly kicking her off the show, and then Sarita and Rosita return and attack Velvet Sky and Angelina Love. After the beatdown, Angelina Love challenges Sarita, Rosita, and Angelina to a 6-person tag team match next week. The next match of the night was a match between Rob Terry and Scott Steiner. This was a good match. Scott Steiner controlled most of the match and even managed to suplex Rob Terry's 2 times during the match. Steiner wins the match with the Steiner recliner. Next, we go backstage with Kurt Angle. Ric Flair confronts Kurt Angle to tell him that he is God and that he is the best wrestler in the world and that he did not pass the torch. Something like that. The next match of the night was between Matt Morgan and Hernandez. This was another good match. Matt Morgan controlled most of the match. Matt Morgan wins by disqualification after Hernandez repeatedly slams his face against the steps. The next segment has Hulk Hogan backstage talking to the network to set up who Jeff Hardy's mystery opponent is. He is then confronted by Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson demands his title shot against Jeff Hardy. Him and Hulk Hogan go back and forth until Anderson leaves. Awesome segment. Next they try Karen Angle and Jeff Jarrett try to renew their vows again after being foiled by Kurt Angle earlier. This time Kurt Angle waits until the ceremony is over and pulls out an axe, and Karen and Jeff retreat. These wedding segments were the worst on Impact. The main event was Jeff Hardy winning the TNA Heavyweight Championship against a mystery opponent. That mystery opponent was the returning Sting. This was an awesome moment. Sting entered the large arena to a huge pop, and he had new ring attire. This was another awesome match to end the show. Sting defeated Jeff Hardy with the Scorpion Death Drop to win the match and become the new TNA Heavyweight Champion. Like I said before, TNA Impact was awesome tonight. I love how TNA is starting to do tapings outside of the Impact Zone because I love the Impact Zone, but you're not gonna compete with WWE or make any money if you stay there. Doug 8798 out.